Welcome, welcome to the White Rabbit YouTube channel. Today we are discussing the Yaksha Warrior Giant Entities episode. But before I get into that, some people had some questions about previous episodes. Someone wanted to know, first of all, where is the Taiwan pyramid video that I mentioned in the very first introduction to the different categories around the world? Uh, and the answer is I did make that episode, but my editor didn't think it was a good enough attempt because it was my very first video that I filmed, and I didn't have any experience, and he wants to help me to make it better. So I'm going to be filming that in the coming few weeks, and I will push it out into the assembly line of videos as soon as it's ready. Uh, Someone asked me about the Admiral E. Bird video because they were confused as to why the title of the episode was called Admiral E. Bird and the title of the live was General E. Bird, which I can show you right here. So the answer is that was a complete mistake. It should not say general at all. It should just be admiral. And then he wanted to know about the rankings of the Army, but I looked into it. I mean, of the Navy. I looked into it a little bit and found that the Navy, with the old Navy and the new Navy in 1880, so it's not like anyway. The U.S. Army have their own Navy, and that Navy is bigger than most navies in the world. So that's an interesting little tidbit there. Someone asked me, what keeps you motivated? Why? How can you feel excited about making the videos? Well, I'm just excited to share the story with everybody. There are so many topics and so little time to do everything to cover it. If you're following me on the Facebook page of the White Rabbit 4090, you'll have seen that I just finished filming a newer episode called the Sea, Loch, and Lake Monsters, which I'm very excited to share. It goes over a dozen or so sea monsters around the world. A lot of good, exciting stories. And for the Yaksha video, at the end, I have the advertisement for Ping's service for driving people around. And they asked me how I know him, and I just know I know him through a friend. Like I said in the video, he has a big car, speaks English, and he'll drive you anywhere you want to go. And it's going to be, oh, maybe you want to go here. This is anyway. We really enjoyed traveling with him. It was a great pleasure. And someone asked me if I plan to do more advertisements, and I do. I only have two that are lined up. One of them is going to be in the Bosnia pyramid video that is in the works right now. It's also another taxi service, but this guy was amazing. He drove us from Sarajevo to Visoko, which is where the pyramid is located near. And then it was cheaper to hire him again than to get the local taxi in Visoko. So he came all the way back from Sarajevo to drive us to the next place, which I think was Mostar. And then, yeah, it was. And it's just a picturesque town. And then when we were leaving that place, we looked at taxis to bring us to Dubrovnik, which is, cross to another country, crossing the border. And it was cheaper to call him back from Sarajevo, which is like the first trip was 1 hour and then another hour. And then he's coming for 2 hours and driving us like another hour and a half past where we were. And he was still cheaper than any other taxi. So he really is a good deal for foreigners that are traveling. And instead of going through the main border crossing. We went through this like back alley one where there was like no people, and it was like so easy and quick and fast, and it was just very picturesque ride. It was a very nice time. And in the Taiwan pyramid video that I'm going to be filming in a couple of weeks or less, I plan on having my absolute best advertisement to date. It's about a dental clinic that has laughing gas, and it's like the best dental clinic in all of Taiwan. And my editor is going to help me to make that an amazing advertisement to get people interested in going there. And I want to make that advertisement especially amazing so that I can use that advertisement as an advertisement for future businesses that want to advertise their services or products. Ideally, I'd like to advertise things that I like and I know, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, yes. Oh, someone mentioned there was like a mistake in the video. So after the guru spoke about his encounter with the Yakshas, um, well, I have a question here. How long have you known about the Yakshas? All right, well, let me finish about the mistake with the Yakshas and then I'll answer your question. Thank you. I am Saleh. Um, so, right after the guru spoke about his encounter with the Yakshas, uh, I just got another question, so I was a little distracted there. I'll just read it to you anyway. So it says, did you have any challenges with the local people while filming on site? Well, yes and no. I'll answer that in a second here. So back to the mistake. Oh my God, I have to say the mistake 3 times. So the Yaksha mistake was that after the guru spoke to the UN, there was 2 scenes that were like flipped. The immediate scene of me speaking about that is like the second scene after the guru, and it should have been reversed. So I think the story still makes sense. And I'm surprised that you caught that. I'm surprised I didn't catch that. Sorry, but it's going to stay for now. Okay, so back to the I am Saleh's question. How long have you known about the Yaksha? Well, if you are very observant with my maps, which I don't know, it's kind of small. I mean, this one here. From the very first video, the Yaksha symbol was not on the map, so that means it's a more recent discovery. I had plans to go to Thailand and I wanted to make an on location video. So I just started Googling places like about, my topics: anomalies, Atlantis, pyramids, megaliths. But I started with giants and then I found something right away. And it's kind of like the entity, giant, spirit, monster kind of category. So I did all the research about the Yakshas. One thing I did miss is that you are not allowed to film in the Grand Palace in Thailand. So I was filming and I was stopped by the military police, and I didn't see any signs that said you couldn't film. But after when I was leaving, I heard that yeah, you can't film there. So I did not include the footage, even though it's kind of funny. Of the whole situation is I was filming and then they came on and then the lady's like, you can't film here, and then I had to had a little discussion with her and then turned off the camera. So that was fun. Anyway, I got some pictures with the Yakshas in the Grand Palace, but I ended up filming in 2 different locations. One was Wat Chumalali, and the other one is up on the screen in the video because I can't pronounce that place. Sorry. Another question is, did you have any challenges with local people while filming on site? Well, I just kind of answered that. But when I was on the second location, the place I couldn't pronounce, it was like complete opposite of Bangkok. It was like the driver, I just said, I want to see the Yakshas, and he knew exactly where to go. He brought me to this place, and it was like very secluded, hardly any people around. I did have the microphone, and I was like doing the recordings, and people were driving by with like loud motorcycles, and then like I stopped and restarted every time. But afterwards, when I got back and listened to the record, I couldn't pick up any of those sounds in on the video. So I could have just continued, but I stopped and restarted it so many times because even though it wasn't a very busy place, you could still hear the loud motorcycles, and I could hear it better than you guys, I guess. There was a guy that was like exercising, and I thought he had a very innovative way to exercise, but he had a tire on its side with a rope attached to his waist, and he was running around the parking lot in circles. So that was making like a dragging sound every time he like came past. So I would stop recording for that as well. And then some children came by and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And they like, talk to me while I'm filming, and I have to stop and talk to them, and or like, yeah, whatever. And then in the third location, Wat Chumalali, there was like a lot of people, but I just waited for people to stop praying, and then I did my recording bit. And actually, when I was filming there, it was so hot that my phone like shut down. It had some like high temperature warning, and I could not film anything at all. So they had these like bottles of free water that were like in like coolers full of ice. So I just took out some and I put them under my phone and over my phone, and then just put my hat on top of it to try to get my phone to cool down a little bit, and that seemed to work. And then I could continue filming. Uh, that was pretty good. Uh, there's another question. What would be your next on visit beside the Taiwan pyramid? I can't really see. There's a video. What would be your next on-site video besides the Taiwan pyramid? All right. Well, I would love to go to Vietnam and do the Inner Earth Son Dong Cave episode. Either that or going to Palau, and they have a lot of things. They have. I'm just looking at my continent of Moon map on the other wall there. So there's Anomaly, Giant, and Pyramid. And it's a pretty small island, so I could do the whole thing in like 3 or 4 days. And the pyramid is kind of like the Taiwan pyramid and the Samoa pyramid, where it's like completely abandoned. Nobody goes there, and you'd have to like hike out by yourself, and that would be pretty fun. Other on location places. Well, I'm going to go to Canada in June, so I was going to look for something around there. I'm not going to go all the way to Cape Breton to do the ancient Chinese settlement, but that would have been pretty cool to do. Yeah, that's all for now. I did talk about all my dream locations, but for you're asking like actual locations, so I'd say it's either going to be Vietnam, Palau, and yeah, that's my option for now. But the next one will for sure be the Taiwan pyramid, which will be filmed in a couple of weeks. So probably in a month you can see it. All right. Any more questions that people sent me before? No, I don't think so. All right. Well, thanks for your questions, and I hope you enjoyed this live episode about the Yaksha warrior giant entities, which I didn't speak much about, but you ask them for luck and they give it to you, and you have to go back in person and thank them for your luck. And I plan to do that as soon as my channel takes off. So I'll keep you posted on that one too. Uncovering the truth, one conspiracy at a time. See you next week on the White Rabbit YouTube channel.